Welcome, everybody, to lesson 18.6. This is our sixth lesson or sixth episode in our studies of pandas. In learning pandas, we've made a lot of progress, and this is the sixth pandas lesson. And this lesson aims to upgrade your knowledge in pandas and give you more confidence when it comes to manipulating data in cloud computing, in cybersecurity, in data analysis, in machine learning and data science, and in every area of tech. We will discover how powerful Pandas is and what Pandas is actually doing in the field of data manipulation. And before I get into it, I want to quickly say that all things are difficult because they are before they are easy. All things are difficult before they are easy. When you get to the top, you realize that everything is easy, but before you get there, it will be difficult. This is a law of success and law of life. And so, as you are climbing the journey of success, you are going to encounter a lot of difficulties. All right, you need to overcome them. And with time, they will be easy for you. So, everything is like that. So sometimes learning will be difficult, but don't give up because millions and millions have made it and they are not better than you. No one in this world is better than you. No one is better than you. You are special, you are unique. As a matter of fact, there is no one in this world like you. You are very unique, and whatever millions have done, you can also do. This is myself, and I welcome you to this Python lesson. Today's lesson is part 6, and it is titled Data Integration. Data Integration. So in today's lesson, we are going to learn about merging, about joining, and concatenation. All right, this is very, very important in working with data because sometimes you have data from multiple sources and you need to combine them to do your machine learning modeling or to do any other projects you have with data. So this is very, very important. And if you are ready, let me see data integration in the chat. Newman has already put it there. And Nyampandi, thank you so much. And by the end of this lesson, you'll be able to combine multiple data sets using concat, merge, and join in pandas to prepare and analyze data from multiple sources. And pandas is one of the powerful libraries that if you do not know how to use it, then you cannot progress in working with Python. So I'm so happy that we are learning about pandas and we've reached part 6 of our lesson in pandas. Pandas is one of the most powerful and popular Python libraries. It is used for data cleaning. It's very, very important. Any work you are doing with data, cleaning is part of it. And pandas gives us what we need to be able to clean data. It's used for data exploration. It's used for data analysis and data integration. So today we are talking about data integration, like merging, like joining, like stacking, concatenation, and combining data. Pandas is built on top of NumPy, and NumPy is one of the libraries that we will study about also. And it integrates seamlessly with tools like Jupyter Notebooks, like we all know, for interactive coding. It's good for Matplotlib and Seaborn. Very soon we'll be very, very good with Matplotlib and Seaborn. And we also master scikit-learn for machine learning and data AI modeling. All right, so Pandas works seamlessly with all of these tools over here. Pandas is an open source Python library and is designed specifically for working with structured data like spreadsheets, database tables, JSON, or CSV files. I like the way Pandas is open source, and this means that the Pandas code is openly available for everyone to have access to use, to modify, and the most important part is for you to contribute to. I was so happy when I saw some of our incoming students who said that they are already open source contributors. And it is so powerful for you not just to learn about Pandas or Python or any programming language, but for you to contribute to open source. And it is directly connected to what we are trying to do because the time is coming. We want you to be an open source contributor and add to your CV that you are an open source contributor to Python or to Pandas or to this library, to that library. When you get there, then you are going to earn the respect of many, that you are not just a user, but you are a contributor. And I like to see you there. I like to see you there. Yes, an open source contributor. This means as Pandas is still being developed, you are going to contribute to the development of Pandas. So the project is on GitHub, and it doesn't matter your level, you can contribute to it. All right. So once you know how to use Git and GitHub, you can also contribute to the project by pushing code to it to add to it to make it better. So you see something about Pandas and you want it to be better, you follow the guidelines and you suggest improvements. You write code to suggest improvement and we contribute to it. And I can't wait to see some of you add that to your CV, that you're an open source contributor. That is really powerful. Yes. Now, Pandas allows you to load, to manipulate, and combine data from multiple sources. Now, why data integration? Data integration is the process, first of all, defining it is a process of combining data from different sources into a single unified view. This is essential when information is scattered across multiple tables and multiple files, and you need to bring it together to be clean, explored, or analyzed. Now, when you get into the real world, you are going to encounter many issues with messy data that you have to spend time cleaning. You are going to encounter many issues with data that is insufficient for your project. So you have data and it's not enough. It's not enough. And so you realize that you need additional data. And what you do, you need to combine the data. You need to integrate the data. So this is super, super important because you are going to encounter this all the time. And this is a very, very important skill for you if you are working with data, especially data analysts and machine learning um, engineers. You need to know how to do that. So this lesson resolves that, and this lesson guides you on exactly how to do that. It's a critical skill for every data analyst, every data scientist, and every machine learning engineer. So to get started, we are going to go through a number of challenges, and every challenge will give us a project to or something to do. And so we do that, and we will learn how to integrate data. So this is data integration, and our first challenge is to create 3 sample data frames. So you are going to use Python to create data frames. So this is the time you start your Jupyter environment. And so I'm going to give you the data one. You will create it as a data frame. We are not going to import any data. We are creating the data. So we'll create 3 of them. And then we will use these 3 to learn about data integration. We will merge, we will join using these 3. So the first one is for you to create a table or a data frame called student info. So with this code, create student info and post it in the chat. And when you finish, run your student info. Let me see the data frame, put it in the chat, and we will look at these 3 data frames and we will see how we are going to do the integration. So this is a very powerful lesson and I want you to get started. All right. So I'm giving you a few minutes, work on this and let me see in the chat. All right, so let me start my Jupyter environment. I'm going to, first of all, launch my Chrome. And with this Chrome, I will open to my terminal and I will just type Jupyter Space Lab. All right, thank you, Krisha. I trust you and I know you will. So it's okay. It's okay. All right, so let me open to another tab within Jupyter Lab and start a new notebook. So we are going to be working with this notebook, right? And our project today is data integration. So with data integration, we are actually merging, joining, and concatenating. So I'll just put a mark down here, data integration, merging, joining, and concatenating. All right, so let me turn this into a markdown. This is very, very important because if I don't make it a markdown, it is going to become code. So I need to change it to a markdown and run it. And I have this. So merging, joining, and concatenating. All right, so this is what we are working on. And this is challenge one. And first thing is to import pandas. So import pandas as PD. After importing pandas, next we are going to create a data frame. So this is the data frame. You can create it in multiple ways. So right now, let me create another markdown for challenge one. And challenge one says create 3 sample data frames. So I'm going to write a markdown actually, and I'll say challenge one, create 3 data frames. All right, so this I use heading 3. So to make it heading 3, I use 3 hashtags or hash symbols to make it heading 3. If I want it to be heading 4, I'll make it 4 so that the size will be smaller. I think heading 3 is okay. Let me go back to heading 3 and run it. This one is very large because it is heading 1. So that is okay. Sorry. I just wanted to zoom out. All right. So challenge 1, create 3 data frames. And our first data frame is called student info. So I will put a comment here quickly and say that creating data frame 1, student info, So this student info, what I will do is that I'm going to create the data first. I'll just say data, or let me call it student info data. Then this is going to take my dictionary. This is going to be my dictionary. And in this particular dictionary, I'm going to create 3 keys: student ID, student underscore ID, name, and gender. And then I create a list for them. So as key value pair, the first key is going to be student underscore ID. This is my key. Then colon, then my list will come here. Then comma, then name, colon, my list, then comma. And then the last is gender. So let me check and confirm gender. Okay. So this is gender. So we type gender column and then my list. So the last list will not have a comma. This is the first key value. So we have comma here, comma here. This will not have a comma. So in my first list, let me see how many data items will be in there. We have 4. So 101, 102, 103, and 104. So let's do that. 101, comma 102, comma 103, comma 104. All right. So the next one here is going to be 4 names, and Ibrahim says I'm done. All right. So I'm going to use 4 names from the class, and let me see who and who will make it into my list. And I have Lucretia, of course, Lucretia. So happy to have you here. Then we have Timothy, both of you in South Africa. And we have Newman from Ghana. And of course, we have Ibrahim. Ibrahim, where are you from? Okay. So what I would do is to have my gender also a string. So we have first one will be F for female. Second one will be M for male. Sierra Leone, Ibrahim from Sierra Leone. All right. So Newman M and Ibrahim M. All right. Thank you all. We are one family here. Africa is one. If you're an African, we are one. You're my brother and you're my sister. All right. So now that we have the data, we will just use PD. So here, let me just put one small comment here and say that creating the data dictionary for the data frame. All right. And once this is done, we come here and we will create the data frame. And to do that, we are going to use pd.dataframe and we are going to put in our SI data. So this is done. And what we'll do next is to store it somewhere. So we are supposed to store it as student info. So I'll just say students underscore info equals to this. So let's run this. If there's no error, once you see the number here, then it means it worked. So we have 2 there, so it worked. So let me type student info and run it and see how my data frame looks like. This is beautiful. So let me see who else got it. And I can see that we have, okay, this is perfect. This is perfect. This is perfect. Wow. 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 This is wonderful. Brahim got it. So for the rest, I'm waiting to see your work. Let me see what you've done. And this is so wonderful. So this completes challenge 1, part 1. Okay, so we are creating 3. Thank you, Luis. All right, so we are creating another data frame. And thank you, Robley, Bernadine, of course. We are creating another data frame. And the next data frame, let's see what it is. If you are done with this one, just for 4 students. So the next one is called test scores. Data frame 2 called test scores. So test scores, this is how it looks. We have the student ID, we have math score, and we have English score. They are all integers. So student ID, math score, English call. All right, so let's come here. Thank you, Nyampandi. Thank you so much. All right. So for the next one, creating data frame 2, let me actually copy what I have here. Sometimes we do that and paste here and modify it. So what I'm going to do is that this is going to be creating data frame 2, and this is called test scores. Is this course or score? Test course, yes, of course. Test course. So test course, instead of SI data, I'm going to say TS for test score. And we have the same student ID here. And we have math score, and we have English score. All right, all of them are integers, and the IDs, I think, remains the same. And we have math score 88, 92. Let me put that in there as integers. So let me clear everything here. Let me clear everything here too. So we have 88, 92, we have 79, and we have 85. And we have 85. All right. Then for English, we have 90, 87. We have 90, 87. And then we have 75, 89. Okay. So to create my data frame, I'm going to call this test underscore scores, and pd.data frame, I put in my TS for test call data. That is it. That is it. Okay. I run this and it works. I can see 4 here, and I'll write my test calls here, run it, and I can see the next data frame. So this is data frame 2. Let me see who has done it. Francis, thank you so much. Okay, so let's do this. This is important, okay? This is important. This is important. People are paying a lot for this knowledge, and they are not getting it as easy as we have it. So the journey to become successful for the industry, that's what we are doing. Thank you, Robley. Your work looks great. Okay. So your student ID, make sure it matches your first student ID, probably, because, okay, let me see, it does. All right, that's beautiful. It has to be the same. Okay, so time for my last data frame. Let me copy this code as well. And I'll come here. And before I paste it, let me see. Let me create a cell here and make this a heading 5 markdown. Call this data frame 1. Data frame 1, students info. Let me make it a markdown and just see. I just want to see if I can make my data set more presentable. I mean, my project more laid out well. Yes. So data frame 1, student info. Over here, let me do the same here, create another cell. I want it to look better. So heading 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and data frame 2. We call data frame 2 test scores. Also a markdown. Okay. This way is more presentable. Then here we will create another markdown. And I'll do 1, 2, 3, sorry, 3, 4, 5, and say data frame 3. And this one, let me see what it is called. Data frame 3 is going to be attendance. Thank you, Koleko. Attendance. All right. So this is fine. Let me run this and paste this code here and say data frame 3, attendance, and I just call this 80 data. So let me see how attendance looks like. All right. So for attendance, we have student ID, days present, and total days. So let's create it with this. All right. So student ID, we have days present, and then we have total days. Let me clear this. Okay. Let me confirm total days. All right. So 22/18/2025. I'll put it here. 22/18/2025. Then 25/25/25. Okay. Wow. The which is faster than the system itself. Wow. All right. So to create a data frame, I'm going to call this attendance. I'll just say attendance, and I'll say PD, the data frame, 80 data. Okay. So let me run this, and it worked. And I'll call attendance here. Okay, so I have this. So I'm done with all the 3 challenges. Let me be sure everyone else is done. And then we will continue with the 3 tables. I'm done with the 3 tables, the data frames. Okay. All right, so now we have 3 data frames that we can use. Thank you, Francis. We have attendance, looking good. Thank you, Lorraine, Timothy, thank you. We have test scores, and then we have student info. All right, so that is it. So with these 3 data frames, we need to know what to do next. we need to know what to do next. So I'll be creating my next challenge. And this particular challenge, is going to say that we should concatenate. So now we are going to concatenate vertically, meaning we are going to add more students and stack all rows together. Okay, so let's see how that goes. We are going to add more students and then we are going to stack all rows together. So we are going to concatenate vertically for challenge 2. All right, so this means we are going to add more students to our first students table. So we are going to create another data frame called more students. All right, we are going to create another data frame called more students. Okay, so let's take note of that. Another student data frame. So the goal is to join this to our first students data frame, our first student info data frame. So that's what we are going to do. We are creating another data frame, and please take note of the name. The name of this data frame is more students, more students. So please do that. And what you need to pay attention to is that it will follow the same structure of the first data frame. So you can see that the columns are going to be the same because the keys here have student ID, name, and gender, just like the first one. So let it be the same. And then you create it for 2 additional students. You can use any name you want. And then you create the genders as well. All right. So let me go ahead and work on mine, creating a new data frame called more students. So over here, instead of going straight to this, I'm going to say that I just call this data frame 4 and say more students and make it a markdown. Don't forget. All right. So let me copy from my first data frame. I'm going to copy this. And notice that I am creating the dictionary first before creating the data frame, but you can do it at once. You don't have to separate them. All right. So over here, creating data frame 4, I'm going to call it more students. And here I'm going to have only two, starting from 105 and 106. Remember, these are IDs, so we need to make them unique. So we ended at 104. So now we have 105, 106. And I'm going to create 2 names. So let's see who will make it here. And I think I'm going to put Lorraine, number 1. And I'm going to put, I know who's going to make it there. All right. Okay. So let's add Luis. All right. So gender is female, female. All right. This is beautiful. So this one, more students, let me just call it MS data. And this one, we call it more students, more students. So I'll put my MS data here. So far, so good. I just hope everyone is following and you are not lost. Please, if you are lost, let me know and I will help you, okay? If you are lost, let me know. Okay. So I am just saving my notebook. Can give it any name. Data integration is fine. And let me run this. More students. All right. So I run this and then I say more students. I run this as well. And I have another data frame here called more students. Let me see who has done it. And I can see Nyampandi. Thank you. I can see Nkruleko. That's beautiful. All right. That's wonderful. I can see Luis. Luis is ahead of everything. I don't know how. Hey, wow. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Lorraine. Okay. Right. So what we are going to do next is to create another data frame called, or a variable. This is also a data frame because it's going to be a PD. So what we are going to do is that this particular all student, we are going to use this function called pd.concat. pd.concat. So after you have a data frame, you can do several operations. There are a lot of functions that you can use later on. So there's one called concat that we are going to use. This concat allows us to concatenate. Remember this data frame called student info. We have another data frame called more students. So you put them in a list. So the first parameter is going to be a list. The first parameter is going to be a list, it's accepting a list. So in parameter one, you put in the two data frames in a list. Then parameter two, who can tell me what parameter two is? What's the name of parameter two? Or what is the parameter? What is parameter two called? Someone should tell me in the chat. What is parameter two called? What is parameter two called? Anybody? No, parameter two of concat is called, no, parameter two of concat. Okay, please just look on my screen. I don't know if you are seeing my screen. I'm saying parameter two of concat. Parameter two of dot concat. So let me see who will get it right. No, you're not understanding me. Parameter two of dot concat. Thank you, Newman. All right, Newman got it. Jampandi got it. So this is parameter two. Okay. So as we upgrade ourselves in Pandas, we are learning new things. Okay. So what we are going to do now is to concatenate our student info and our more students data frames. This is how we'll do it. So let me go to my Jupyter environment and I'm going to create another heading 5 here. And I'm going to make it a markdown. And I'm going to say that concatenating two data frames. Two data frames. Concatenating two data frames into brackets student info. Remember, this is a data frame and more students. This is also a data frame. So there are two data frames called student info and more students. All right. So to do that, all you have to do is to say pd.concat. So what we are learning here is this function called .concat. So far, all that we've done is to reach this point. We've learned a lot about other functions in Pandas, and I want someone to give us any of the functions we have learned about previously. Today is about .concat. So who can tell us about any other function that we've learned when it comes to Pandas? Okay, so okay, that's dot fit, dot head, dot pop, dot rename. I like dot rename. I like dot rename a lot. Yes. So when it comes to Pandas, there are a lot of functions we have learned about. So let me type dot and press tab here, and you can see a lot of functions and classes here. Let me type rename. Okay, so this rename it's actually for after the data frame is created. Okay, so the series, thank you, Nkuleko. So the series, you can see the series here. Okay, and dot read CSV, dot read CSV. Okay, and we have several other functions. Okay, today we are doing pd.concat, and it's just pd.concat. So today's lesson, what you need to remember from here is that it's about .concat. So you can see it right here as a function. Okay, now .concat is a function right on Pandas or from Pandas. This is not on the data frame after it is created. This is on Pandas itself. And the first thing it wants is, thank you, a list where you want to concatenate your data frames. So to concatenate data frames, you need to provide them here. After that, there is another parameter that says ignore index that you need to provide a value for. So we have ignore underscore index. So these are the two parameters that we are dealing with right now. Let me start with ignore index and set it to true. It can be true or false. Okay, let's set it to true. If we don't ignore the index, remember the index of Luis is 106. Sorry, it's 1. Please, this is the index. This is the student ID. This is index. The index of Luis is 1. In our first data frame, we had another index for someone else, which was also 1. If we don't ignore this, then we are going to have two students with the same index right here. So it is very important that we ignore the index here. Very important. Now, .concat says that what do you want to concat? Provide the two data frames you want to concat. And I said, okay, I have one data frame called students info. Let me go and look for it here. Let me search and look for it. If I'll find it, students info, where is it? Okay, I think I found it. So you can see this student info. That is it here. It's a data frame. It's called student info. Okay, so I nearly made a mistake. I called it students info. No, it is student info. Good. Now I'm concatenating two data frames. You can't concatenate one. So comma and the next one. So the next data frame I want to concatenate is right here. And the name is called more students. So I'll say more underscore students. All right. Okay. So this is what you need to take home from this lesson. Everything we've done prior to this, you already know everything else. But this is one good thing to learn today. Today, we have looked at .concat. And every data professional will be using .concat. So let that be the addition to your knowledge called .concat. And .concat accepts a list of data frames, a list of data frames. So we had two data frames and we just provided it. And we set ignore index to true because we don't need an index. At the end of the day, we are going to store all of them into another data frame called all underscore students. So let's run this and see if this will work. If it works, then let me see, the number is there, it works, no error. Let's go ahead and call all students and let's see what we will get. So all students, and beautifully, you can see that because we ignored index, a new index has been given to Lorraine and a new index has been given to Louise. Who can tell me the previous index of Lorraine? Who can tell me the previous index of Lorraine? Anybody? The previous index of Lorraine. It was 0. Thank you very much. But now Lorraine is having 4. This is because of the ignore index we added here, so that it will not bring in the old index because we don't really need it at all. This is the index. All right. So now I think everything is on point. And let me see those who have been able to do it. I can see Nkuleko. Beautiful job, Nkuleko. Well done. Let me see Timothy. Marvelous. Beautiful job, Timothy. Let me see who else. Ibrahim. Fantastic. Fantastic. And let me see Yampandi. Powerful. Let me see Francis. Amazing. Francis have done it. Let me see Marasi. Marasi, this is beautiful. And let me see Robley. Robley, your work is just powerful. I like that. I like that. All right. So thank you all. You've done it. Now we've completed challenge 2. And we can see that tomorrow when you have serious CSV files with 10,000 rows of data, and you need to combine it with another 20,000 rows of data, you need to know what to do. All you need is concat. All right. And you need to make sure that the columns are the same. You can see that we are not having any issues with the columns because they all had the same columns. Let's look at students info. Sorry, the last one was called what's more students. Let's look at more students. You can see that more students, this particular data frame has the same headers or the same columns or the same keys. And if you go up to student info has exactly the same student ID, name, and gender. So if you come here to more students, student ID, name, and gender. So because of that, we can easily do .concat and there wouldn't be issues. All right, I'm going to ask a question here. You are supposed to concatenate 2 data frames. One has 4 columns, one has 3 columns, and one of the columns has unnecessary or contains unnecessary data. What would you do to concatenate the 2 data frames? What would you do to concatenate the 2 data frames successfully? One data frame has 3 columns. The second data frame has 4 columns with 1 column that is not in the 3 columns. In the fourth column, we had, sorry, in the second data frame, we had all 3 columns from the first data frame plus an additional one. But the additional one doesn't have any relevant data to our project. What are we going to do to ensure that the concatenation works successfully? What are we going to do to ensure that the concatenation works successfully? So Let me know in the chat what you will do to ensure that this concatenation works without issues. Let me know what you are going to do. Okay. Thank you very much. All right. So someone says remove the duplicate data through data cleaning. Someone says drop the irrelevant column. That's beautiful. Thank you. Okay, thank you. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So for now, let's take the dropping of the irrelevant because I already mentioned that it is irrelevant to the project. So let's just go with that. So we drop the irrelevant column and then we will just go ahead and continue with .concat. And today we've seen .concat and how it works. And you can see that the two data frames are provided here and we simply ignore this. Now I'm going to ask another question. This pd.concat, the two parameters here, I'm going to ask whether the code you are looking at, starting from pd.concat, is the code clear and understandable? Look at the code right now. Tell me, is this particular code clear and understandable? Just look at it, please. Just look at it. Yes. All right. Yes. Because all you have to know is that .concat wants two parameters, but it's a simple function called .concat. The first parameter is a list containing the list of data frames. So it is just a list. So you just provide the two data frames. And the next parameter is called ignore index. And you just set it to true and everything works. And you have a brand new data frame because we stored it in a new variable here. Wonderful. All right, so let's move on quickly. Let's move on quickly. And it says I use this when you want to stack multiple data sets with the same structure. Okay. Example, regional files, monthly logs. It needs to have the same structure as in the same columns. They have to be the same. All right. So challenge 3 is to merge student info and test scores. So this time, add more students and stack all rows together. Sorry, I think that is from what we did before. Let's forget about the last description. So what we are going to do is to merge student info with test scores. So this will lead us to another powerful function, and this one is called .merge. .merge is saying that provide student info, provide test scores, and provide on what columns. Then how. So right now, this is going to be very, very interesting. This is very, very interesting. So this .merge is asking for 4 parameters. The first parameter is saying provide the first data frame because this particular first data frame is important. It's going to be the leading data frame. This is why they didn't give you a list. Okay. Yes, from SQL, I like that. So the first data frame here is called whatever it is, you put it there. Ours is student info. Then the second data frame. So one is a leading data frame. The next one is the secondary one, which is coming to merge with it. And then you choose what you want to merge it on. We are going to merge it on student ID. And very, very soon, I'm going to ask you why we are merging it on student ID. And there are several types of merging. One is called outer. So we are going to try the outer merging. And when we are done, I'm going to ask you to try another how. And let's try the inner. let's try the left and let's try the right. For now, we are going to do our merging on student ID and an outer type of merging. Okay, so we have, like in SQL, we have inner join, we have outer join. So this is the same, and we are going to merge. We are going to do pd.merge. So this is going to be beautiful. When you are done, save it in a data frame called merge scores. All right. So here, let me quickly remove this description here so that it doesn't confuse anyone. It's just a simple challenge 3. Merge student info with test score. Beautiful. All right, so this is clear. Let's work on it. We are going to do pd.merge. Let me go to Jupyter, and this is going to be my challenge 3. So I'm going to put this heading here and say my markdown challenge 3, and it's saying that merge student info with test scores. So merging two data frames. All right, so this time it's merging. All right, so after that, I'm going to say that let me just go ahead and say comment merging student info with test scores. And then I'll say pd.merge. Okay, so now we've seen another function. Let me see. After I press dot and tab, I'm going to see dot merge here. So dot merge is another powerful function. Please remember dot merge. Hit enter. So we have this as a function, and it is going to ask for some parameters. And let's focus on the 4 that we've seen. The first parameter is going to ask for my first student info. Is this student info or students info? I think it's student info. Okay. And then I'm going to merge it with test scores. And then on what? I'm going to merge on something. And I'm going to provide how I'm going to merge it. All right. So here we'll put df1. Here we'll put df2. So these are the 4 parameters we need to answer. df1 is your first data frame, and our first data frame is student info. Our second data frame is called test scores. And who can tell me how we are doing this merge? How are we merging? Sorry, on what are we merging, please? I'm sorry. On what are we merging? On what are we merging? Let me see in the chat. On what are we merging? The how is outer. Thank you, Francis. On what are we merging? Okay. Okay. So on what student ID? Thank you. So when we say the on, we are talking about the column that you are merging on. The column we are merging on. Okay. The column we are merging on. Sorry. The column we are merging on. And I want to find out why we are choosing student ID. Why we are choosing to merge on student ID. I want to find out why we are choosing to merge student ID. So I think at this time, I want someone to tell us why, okay? Just why. What do you think? Why do you think we are merging on student ID? So I'm going to ask someone to tell us why we are merging on student ID. So please raise your hand if you want to speak. I like it when I hear you speak. So let me see one person, just one person. Tell us why we are merging on. Okay, study the data carefully, the data sets carefully, and tell us why we are merging on student ID. So we have our first caller. All right. So Ibrahim, you've been enabled. Tell us why, please.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Am I audible, please?
Yes, you are audible. We can hear you.
Yeah, actually, we are merging on student ID because student ID has a unique number, which is 101, 102, and 103, and therefore, if we are merging on the another column, we are having issue because the other column maybe they have repetitive name, same name, but the student ID has a unique value.
Exactly, exactly. That's powerful. Let's put our hands together for Ibrahim, all the way from Sierra Leone. Let's put our hands together. That is powerful. That is powerful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. So that is it. If you study the data sets, you are going to find out the same thing. And it is very important to understand that. And anytime you are creating databases, when you get into database management, you understand that we have unique identifiers. And these two tables or these two data frames have a unique column or a column that is unique in both tables or both data frames. And apart from that, have unique values as well. So let's look at test course over here. And you can see that test course has a column called student ID, exactly as it is in the student info. And look at this 101, 102, 103, 104. When we move to the student info, you can see that it also has student ID and the same 101, 102, 103, 104. This means this ID points to a particular student called Lucretia. And so when you get to test course and you see 101, this means that this particular 88 is for the student with this particular ID. Now, in database management, we call something redundant data. It is not right to duplicate data in the sense that you have one table with student information and another table with a repetition of the student information. It takes unnecessary space in the database. You just need to make sure you have the ID as a primary key or foreign key in the second table so that you can easily query the two tables to join and provide the information we need. For example, if we come here and we store the name again, it is not right. It is duplicate. What if the name is edited in the student info? Does it mean we are going to go to every table that has student name and go and change everywhere? No, we don't do that. And so we store student info in one table and we store other types of data in a different table. If we need the two, we will query based on the unique ID or the primary key, and we'll be able to join students or merge students info with students course. So that's exactly what we are doing here. And right now we are merging student info, students core on student ID. This is very important. Student underscore ID and how we are merging it using outer. All right. So let's store this in another data frame so that it is not lost. So to store this in another data frame, we are going to use merged scores. So I'm going to call it merged scores, equal to this, and I'm going to run this and then say merged scores. All right, so merged scores, and you can see that now we've created a new data frame that has been able to merge math and score on student info, and now we have everything together. So I told you that Lucretia had the 88, and you can see that it has also been given to Lucretia. It wasn't given to Timothy or Benedine or Newman. It was given to Lucretia because in the test scores table or data frame, 88 was for 101. And so now that we've merged, 88 is going to be given to 101. Okay. All right. So I want someone to do this for me to see the results. What are you going to get when you do the same merging, but you get inner? And I want someone else to get the left and someone else to get the right. Let's see what you get. Try merging it on inner and merging it left and right. And let's just see. So this is going to help us to observe how the output changes with each join type. So let me see what Yampande has done. So copy the same code into another cell and merge it on inner. Let's see what we will get. Give it a different name and let's see what we will get. All right, so I'm happy we are looking at concat and we are looking at merge. I'm so happy because this is really, really needed. And today we have gotten the victory of it. We have understood it. We have learned about it. So next time it's part of what we know, but we can use it on bigger projects. All right. Dot concat, dot merge. Okay, so let me see someone do the dot inner and let's observe. Okay, so someone did dot left and okay, okay, all right. So how about dot right? I mean right, not dot left, please. How about right? So please do the right and let's see. Okay, so for now they look very, very similar with this particular data. They look very, very similar. Okay, they look very similar. Okay, so they look similar unless anyone has spotted any difference. But with other data sets that we'll be looking at, we'll see how the different types of merging affects the results. All right, so this looks very, very similar. Okay, so thank you. Let's move on. Okay, so um, we have two more challenges, and then I'll give you an assignment. Two more challenges, and then I'll give you an assignment. All right, so challenge 4 says merge the results with attendance. Merge the result with attendance. Okay, so merge the results with attendance. Okay, so let's take note that the how, there are different types of how. Later with other data sets, you may need to use the different types. All right, so we'll talk about that actually again. All right, so merge the results with attendance. So our final data set is also going to be dot merge, and this is going to be the result of what we just did with attendance. Then on student ID and also an outer merge. All right, so let's do this. This is challenge 4, and we have one last challenge, and then I'll give you an assignment and we are done. So we are merging merge scores, the new data frame we created with attendance. All right, so let's do that. Okay, So I'll just copy this code here and I will keep it under the same challenge over here for me. And I'll paste this code here. So merging the merged scores with attendance. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to call this final data, final data equals to pd.merge, and we are going to do merge scores. Let me come here and copy it, merge scores. And then we'll merge it with attendance on student ID and how is outer. Someone has already published. So let's see. And I'm going to type final data and see how it looks like. And wow. So you can see how we've been able to add days present and total days. Wow. So we are actually creating an attendance report together with student info and test scores. So you can see that we have three data frames, the student info with their scores and their attendance. And we've been able to merge all of them because they all had the same student ID. We're able to merge on student ID. And now see, we can tell that Lucretia came to the live classes 22 out of 25. Next time we are going to publish your results. I'm going to check how many classes Bernadine has missed, how many classes Francis and Kluleco, Lucretia, you have missed. So this is beautiful. You can see that we have the entire table together. We have the entire table together and you can just tell. So now they don't have to be in separate tables or separate data frames. Now you've merged all of them together and you've seen the power of merging. You've seen the power of merging. All right. So we have one complete student performance data set. So we are almost there. Now let's look at challenge 5 and then this is our last challenge. So quickly, let's look at challenge 5 and it says cleaning the data. After that, we'll look at our very last challenge, which will be an assignment. I mean, this is the last in the class. So this one says filling missing values for clarity. Filling missing values for clarity. Filling missing values for clarity. All right. So what we are going to do now is to just run this code on final data. Okay. So on final data, which is a data frame, let's type this function called fill NA. Yes, please let's run it on final data and see the results. Okay, so let's just run it and we'll just see the results. So let's do this on final data. So I will call this Mind Challenge 4. I'll call this Challenge 4, cleaning the data, and I'll create a subheading. I'll create a subheading here and call it filling missing values for clarity. So filling missing values for clarity. All right. So this is going to be done on the final data. So we are going to say final data dot, and we are going to use this function called fill NA, and just run it. Let me see what you get. And after this, we'll be moving to data cleaning. So we'll talk more about fill NA. So let's just put this one here and store it in cleaned and run it if it works. And then let's see how the clean looked like. So we got the same thing because we don't actually have any missing value. So let's just run it. It's an important function which we'll be learning more about when we get to data cleaning. So thank you very much. You've done it right, Francis. And we should also try it on, let's try the final data on is now dot sum to check how many fields are missing. Okay, so I want you to try that right now. So just say final data dot is now dot sum, and let's see what we will get. So let's say final data dot is now dot sum. All right, so these are two functions, and this, what it will do is to tell us how many fields are missing. So let's run this, and this is important to check. Checking how many fields are missing. All right, so you can recreate what we've done and make sure that the new students are also added. So Robley says that the new students we added are not part of the final data frame. So I think it's a good idea. So you can redo this and make sure they are added. Okay, so please do that again as part of the assignment. So I'll give you the assignment right now and we'll close in the next 5 minutes. So redo it with all students. Now this function here is analyzing all the fields and telling us which field has missing data. Okay, or how many missing values. Okay, checking how many missing values we have in each field. Okay, so how many missing values are present in each field. So after running this, we can see that on student ID, we have 0, on name 0, gender 0. So they all have their, they all have 0 missing values. Okay. So in your experiment, you can remove some of the values, store it, and run this code again to see whether you are going to detect the missing values. Okay. We'll get into data cleaning, so I'm not going to talk much about it now. When we get there, we will handle that. All right. So this is our last exercise in class, and we'll talk a little bit about the join, and then we'll take the assignments. So this particular lesson is about .concat, .merge, and .join. We've used .concat, we've used .merged, and now let's read a little bit about .join. Now, .join is very similar to merge, but it uses the index by default for joining instead of a colon. What this means is that when we were merging, we merged on something. What we merged on, was it the index or it was a colon? Let me know in the chat. What we merged on, thank you, Benedine. Wow, Benedine said she did hers. All right, so did we merge on an index or a column? Did we merge on the index or a column? So everyone is saying that we merged on a column. All right. Now, if you use dot join, it is just like dot merge. The only thing is that dot join joins on index by default. It doesn't join on a column. It joins on the index. So this means they all need to have the same indexes before they will merge the right way. All right. So that is a difference. But in this particular project or this particular lesson, all the challenges we worked on, dot join will not be useful because we have used dot merge. So this is why it's not part of our challenges. Again, dot join is actually called on one data frame. So the parameters are not two data frames or a list like the merge, or on a data on two data frames, sorry, on two data frames like the merge. Okay, so the parameters does not require data frame one and data frame two like the merge. So with dot join, what you have to do is this. Before you begin, you need to actually have your first data frame, okay, the leading data frame, just like we did with dot merge. But with dot merge, we provided the leading one and the secondary one. With join, your leading one should be written first, like df1 dot join, and then you join on df2, and then you provide how. Okay, how. So it will either join left, right, outer, or inner. We'll be revisiting the joins. We'll be studying SQL. We are going to be understanding all of this. So this is how the join works. It's not relevant for our project now, but at least we've seen that it joins based on index and the syntax is different. The syntax is different. Let me look at the syntax for merge. So for merge, you can see that for merge, you have to provide your data frame one and then your data frame two, and you can store in a new data frame. With the join, you have to call your data frame one and say dot join. Then you join on data frame two. Then you bring your how and then you indicate it. Lastly, when to use dot join. Use dot join when you are combining data frames that share an index, not just columns. They share an index. So when they share index, you use dot join. Or you prepared one data frame's index to align with another index. You see, in Pandas, you can manipulate the indexes. It is possible to even use text as the indexes. I don't know if we've done it in this class before. Did we have a series or data frame with text as the indexes? Did we do that? Okay, fine. So this means it is possible to prepare a data frame with custom indexes. If that is done, then you can use the dot join for the merging. All right. So this is going to be our assignment, and we are going to calculate the attendance percentage. So your job is to find out the percentage of time that Lucretia was in the live classes and percentage of time that everyone else in your final data frame attended class. This is our final data frame, and we have Lucretia, Timothy, Newman, Ibrahim, or whatever names you have. You have the number of days present and the total days. Your job is to add another column and tell us how many days Lucretia was in class. If you understand the assignment, let me know if you understand it. All right. So, all right. Ruben understands it. Okay, good. So, this is where we end today's class. And I believe you have learned something new. Please, have you learned something new? Even if you said no, I want to tell you that this is a very important lesson that you will need for higher studies in Python. And I'm so happy that we've covered this. Thank you all, Martin, Menja, David, Nyampandi. Thank you all, and I'll see you in the next class. I wish you all the best. Have a good night. Bye bye.